Productions Incorporated. You're watching Buzz with Jess Lujan.
Good evening, Guam. I'm Jess Lujan. Welcome to this post-election edition of The Buzz. My in-studio guest tonight is, of course, political analyst, UOG professor, Dr. Ron McNinch. Hey, it's good seeing you. Good seeing you again. Deja vu.
That's right. It just seemed like yesterday.
Did you get any sleep?
I did. I got about 5 hours.
There you go. Hey, let's give a rundown of the
Sure.
of the election here. Let's go with the senatorial. I mean, okay, because
that was the fun race.
Absolutely. 4 incumbents were taken out in this in this race.
Sure.
Let's talk about that first, in the sense that we kind of heard about the climate of people definitely wanting change. 4 incumbents definitely replaced by first time runners, seekers to the 32nd Guam legislature. Reasons behind the losses.
Well, there's an old thing we use all the time in my field. We call it Occam's razor. And Occam's razor is, all else equal, draw a straight line. It's the simplest explanation. And in all 4 of those cases, there are extremely simple explanations to show why things worked out the way they did. And you can pick one of the 4. We'll pick the ones.
Let's go with probably the most obvious. Let's go with Republican Senator Monasilva Tyron.
Okay. Monasilva Tyron, her husband goes down on Halloween, yells and screams at the Antolon Middle School folks. That burns through Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, all before the election. It wasn't put out. It was a fire that raged out of control. It was a very easy to deal with issue. It could have been using a political fire extinguisher, deal with it right away. And this is all armchair quarterbacking, but this is what happened, and it wasn't dealt with. And it wasn't so much what her husband did, it's how you politically respond to those things. And by the way, she's a great person. I think she's going to return to the legislature.
As a matter of fact, we were talking before you came on the set. We were talking about a little over a week ago. She was sitting pretty, going to be reelected. She shouldn't have had a problem getting in there. But then that happened, and as you said, the fire wasn't extinguished. It was allowed to not even smolder, but continue to inflame itself even more.
It raged out of control. It needed to be put out. It needed to be put out right away. The staff at the Antolon Middle School, she needed to go to them directly. And in her way, she's like this. She could have deliberately and directly made that up and apologized and gotten it over with. Instead, it burned all weekend.
Senator Samabini.
Samabini, a wonderful lady. She had overarching community support. A lot of her support came from the Filipino community, and she's Filipina. After she got elected, she started over-connecting to her family's home islands in the Philippines, and then that created a kind of disintegration of her base. She wasn't able to keep her primary supporters down because the Filipino community here is very island-oriented. She ran on a Filipino base, but once she started emphasizing her family's connection to her own home island, then it began to unravel.
And it was a give. People knew that. I mean, you had to expand your base, and instead you continue to hype on that.
That's right.
Senator Gutherts.
Senator Gutherts, I tell this all the time. Senator Gutherts hired me to come to the university. She's a wonderful lady, absolutely genuine. 2 years ago when she was elected to the Guam legislature, I said, Judy, you're my friend. Do not lead the military build-up committee. Do other things. And she continued to lead the military build-up committee. And unfortunately, not only did she lead it, they had regular media releases on what the military build-up committee was doing, and it really created this long-running string of connections that had a negative connotation, and it ultimately hurt her. And that's unfortunate because Judy Gutherts is very pro-military and very pro-U.S., but her press releases didn't really show that at all. It made it sound like it was much more adversarial.
And it came across more as defensive when you read that, because she would come back with a defense after a strong offense.
Right, and she, but absolutely, I think she still has a lot to contribute. She's a great mentor to her students, but I think that I even up until the day before the election, I was saying, Judy, I saw your committee turned out this. What are you doing the day before the election turned out so? Just things all the way up through to the election, she was turning things out like that.
Senator Palacios.
Senator Palacios, and it's well known, someone crashed his car, the Adolfo Palacios mobile, into another car at Outrigger. He was ticketed for it. Instead of dealing with it, however, and what he should have done is paid the ticket and said, mea culpa, this is what happened, there was a mistake, I apologize, whatever. He said, I'm going to get my day in court in December. So he dragged it through to December. And so that
Kept
became,
it lingering.
And so your name of your show's The Buzz. That was the buzz that all the little, people were talking about this all over the place and making it an issue. And it was an issue. Also, he had very ill relations with his base. This is another example of a politician losing touch with their base. He cut his base with the police, he cut his base with the fire department, and he no longer had a lot of support from those folks.
Same ones that brought him into to office.
There's an old saying in politics, you have to dance with those who brung you, which is, you go to a dance, you got to dance with people who bring it to you. Well, he forgot that point, and he missed out on it.
Well, obviously the Democrats are going to maintain the majority. There's going to be new leadership there, and we see a couple strong personalities there. We have, of course, Frank Uggins. Not a newcomer. He's just the reason why he was out. He ran for lieutenant governor, and the other times that he was out not serving as well is because he aspired for higher office. Senator Rodriguez, basically, in a second term, highest vote getter. You have Senator Tom Adda, who again ran for governor, ran for lieutenant governor as well. So you have strong folks there. And then you have also the speaker. Would she maintain that? You have also former speaker Ben Pangilinan. Would they maintain that? Is this going to be a five-way fight?
Well, I think that in my suggestion to everybody, if I had it my way, and I'm kind of like, nobody ever really listens to me other than the public, so luckily the politicians don't listen to me. But what I would suggest to people is there should be kind of, just like the president serves 2 terms, a speaker should serve 2 terms and then sit out. Otherwise, you end up with the cumulative negative effects of everybody blaming you for everything for a period of time. Whereas really the speaker, for all pragmatic purposes, they basically operate a big committee structure in terms of assignments. It's a really technical sort of position. And it's a thankless position. And so sometimes it's good to rotate, have a two term or 2 cycle limit and let somebody else take over for a while, because otherwise those cumulative effects can happen. Probably, in my opinion, and I rarely say these kinds of things. By the way, I was with Bree, and when the thing happened, when the leadership changed in the legislature, I said probably Wampat's probably the most likely speaker, and she was. Probably, for all purposes for the current legislature, the best person to be speaker would probably be B.J. Cruz. He's very much a moderate. He's well respected, former Chief Justice, no nonsense. He's a pragmatic leader. He doesn't step on anybody's toes. He doesn't, he's a very pragmatic person. And that might, in fact, I know that the Speaker Wampat's true love is to running the Education Committee. Maybe that would give her time to concentrate on education. And I know also she wants to run for Congress. If she, one day again, she ran for Congress, about 10 years ago, and she might run for Congress again. And that might give her time to concentrate on education. And then, if she wants to run for Congress in 2 to 4 years, that gives her a much easier out than trying to maintain the position as speaker and run for other things.
Well, let me ask you this, because both BJ and Frank Uggin Jr. were both running mates to Carl Gutierrez. I guess you would both assume that they have the Carl Gutierrez connection. Carl is never out of the game of politics, and so as again, one of the reasons why they asked him to step out of the public accountability race is because to help get people elected, or Democrats elected, to the 32nd KUAM legislature. As both former running mates for Carl Gutierrez, who do you think the Carlocrats will support for the speakership of the 32nd KUAM legislature? Has Frank, have they healed that maybe little hurt feeling after this last election? But I tell you what, don't answer yet. We're going to break. We'll be right back. Be right back.